Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Inside Lion Athletics. I'm Charlie Chitwood. We've got plenty to talk about, and right away we've got Joe Morales, women's volleyball coach. And how about 1-0 to start Southland Conference play? Coach, big win last night over Northwestern State. And you'd kind of like to go back and play Houston again, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would. Yeah, let's go. Absolutely, we're going in that direction. No, it was a good win last night. We enjoyed it. I thought they were a good team, but our kids were ready for it. I mean, that's what we've been talking about all season long. Why we had the tough schedule, and I rewatched it on ESPN, and I hear the commentators like, "Well, this is why. This is I know, and I mean that's the reason. We played TCU, UCLA. It's to be ready for conference. And our morale is up, our energy is up, and it was a fun match to go to coach.
Your opponent, your esteemed opponent, Northwestern State, they played a little bit up in their pre-conference schedule as well, and I know you don't focus much on that, but kind of everybody does that.
I think, and one thing I saw is, and Sean's a good friend of mine, he's doing a good job over there. They did. They played Houston, and Louisiana had a good win against Louisiana, and so we kind of scout that a little bit and saw what they did. But what's interesting, and I saw this, our last game was against Ole Miss on Saturday before we played this one.
Mm-hmm.
They had a 10-day stretch where they didn't play either. So and I know he was resting and whatnot, and I think for us, keeping it going was better for us in that aspect. So it worked out to us, and I couldn't be more proud of the team.
Can you talk a little bit about the mindset of the squad as they went out onto the court down in Natchitoches?
Well, a lot of
not the friendliest environment.
No, it's not. It's a good place to play in. It's pretty competitive. We didn't do so well last year there, and so going back in the first game and on the road, we have our seniors and our OGs who are like, all right, taking advantage of every minute they got, and so the morale, the energy was up. I mean, Fetty, oh my gosh, Reese Fetty, I think she had like 4-something plus 400. Our outside Katana 500, and Gracie Campbell only played half of the third set and still hit 400. So, we had all our cylinders running, and it was fun. The morale and the energy was great. We loved that. And so
you mentioned before we started all this that your outside hitters probably played the best games of their careers at Commerce.
Yeah. I think this was probably on the top for all three of them, to be honest with you, especially for the first two, Fetty and Katana Tufuli. I mean, we couldn't be stopped yesterday, and so sometimes you just feed the beast, right? You keep on going, so it was good. And they have really good they had two amazing good pins. Reagan, who is an all-conference middle, they moved her to the outside, really good, and that other kid, Teresa Garza, but we just outpowered them a little bit more, and so our bar control, and what helped us too is Jade in the back row and our back row players.
Right.
We were digging lights out. Every ball that they threw at us, we were digging it.
And she's already got one Player of the Week award, but she might be in line for another one from the way she went.
I hope Southland gives her a nod there. Like that was a huge game for her. And she even texted me this morning. She goes, I didn't get aced on yesterday. I was like, yeah, I know, but according to volleyball, the ball, one of the serves kind of trickled over the net and fell, and rather than giving it to the middle blocker, they gave it to you. And she's, I guess I'll take that one. So she was like,
okay,
that was great. No, but she's playing lights out too. Like our defense is, I'm really excited about what we're gonna do in conference with our defense, and then now our outsides and our middles will get back into it, and really excited to see what's going on. I still think we're young, and I still think we're growing, and in my second year, but I love the direction we're going and the pace that we're going at.
The youth of your team, those are the ones that they probably hadn't had the experience or very much of it, of all of this playing up, punching up in weight class before the start of conference.
No, yeah, a lot of them were their first time playing at the bigs, preseason. So being on the big stage, it humbled them a little bit, and it showed them, hey, like you may be good, but you're not there yet. And so, it gives us a little bit of humility, in a sense of like we can be good, but we need to keep on working towards that direction. We're not just going to be good one day. We want to be good continually to grow.
Okay, so now you have your home conference opener, and that's going to be tomorrow night. UIW is coming up.
UIW is coming up, and we're excited about that. We'll have a good fan base here, and then that's going to be a good one, a good battle. And then I think they get stronger as we go. And then Saturday we got McNeese. So, so that's going to be a good one as well.
Cowgirls coming here, or are we going down to Lake Charles?
We're staying at home all weekend.
There
Absolutely, all weekend. So we're excited for that. We want everybody out to come out and support us. It's going to be a battle. I think every game in the Southland is going to be a battle, and we're excited for it. So, we're ready to rock.
All right, Lions are 1-0 heading into match number 2. That'll be against UIW Thursday night. Tomorrow night, what time? 6:30?
6:30 p.m., absolutely, yes.
And then Saturday?
Saturday, I believe we have a 1 p.m., 1 o'clock p.m.
There we go. Hey, if we're wrong, just make sure you checked on lionathletics.com, and you'll be right. Hang on, we'll have more Inside Lion Athletics coming your way just after this. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Inside Lion Athletics, joined now by head coach Ashley Gordon of women's soccer. Coach, you've got conference play underway this last weekend, too. In fact, just Sunday afternoon, 0-0 tied down in the Valley. It was a long way to go. You didn't have to take everybody because you couldn't.
Correct. Still suffering from a few injuries still. But we were able to get one of our forwards back, Savannah Powell, for UTRGV. Definitely traveled to the Valley, played in about 90% humidity. It was pretty rough, by the way. I'm hoping that when I get them the next time that I have to go travel down there, I'm hoping to play them in October versus September. But but no, you know what? A point on the road and with the duration of travel, I was not disappointed with the way we played. I was disappointed in the fact that we didn't get a win. But I'll take the tie. We were in control of the game, really. Mm-hmm. From a shots on goal, that statistic was fairly even, and same for corners. But as far as the way that we played, we were in possession for the majority of the game. There was only maybe about a 10-minute span in the second half that they had a series of set pieces, but we scored a goal in the second half. Camila Montero got on the end of a set piece. It was called back for offside, but I'll tell you, when you see it clearly on ESPN Plus, it should have been a goal.
That's two, isn't
it?
I mean, the last two games, I think.
It was a goal. It was a goal. So, I disappointed again not getting the win, because I thought that we played well enough to get the win, but we need to still take care of some details and certainly find the back of the net. So we're hoping to do so this weekend.
The way your forwards, they do all the scoring work, right? Your backs,
forwards,
they do all the defending work.
Yeah.
And where are you shortest? I mean, who did the most champion effort shorthanded? Defenders or up front?
I thought our back line played really well, actually, against UTRGV. In fact, I'd say, probably Trinity Edgerton, who's been starting at outside right back. She's a player that transferred from Baylor to come here. And anyway, I thought that she had really a solid game. And so anyway, we're our back line's playing with some confidence for sure. And I think overall defensively, we're playing with confidence. We got to find the back of the net. And again, I know we've had 2 goals that have been called back, but we've got to be more consistent, really, in the final third of the field. It's one thing to control play, playing against UTRGV, but it's the final piece, getting into the final third of the field, where we need to tighten the screws. So something that we're already addressing this week, going into playing Stephen F. Austin and Southeast Louisiana. And I think that if we can do that, sometimes it just takes one, and one goal will lead to a second or third.
Avalanche.
And it just, it breaks the ice for our team.
For all the players you have out and all the players that you have in their stead, Who's kind of jumped up? Is Trinity one of those players that, has really kind of exceeded maybe the early season expectations?
Yeah, no, Trinity's playing well. Sloan Denning, who played outside back all last year, actually has been playing center back for us with Nia Mitchell out. And Sloan is extremely athletic, but I think that, she's playing well, as well. So Marina Vera, which I mentioned, last week, she's been playing left back. She's been playing both sides of the ball and has really been a force in regards to playing from 18 to 18. So going into this week, we have two players that's getting back into training, and so hoping obviously to go into this weekend where they're going to get minutes, of course, but slowly and surely, our trainer is getting them back. So hats off to him.
Busiest person on campus, right?
He doesn't want to be busy, but he's been busy.
Okay, so these next two both at home, right?
Both at home.
Thursday evening, tomorrow night?
Friday, actually.
Friday, excuse me.
Yeah, we play Stephen F. Austin, a team that's coming in with a lot of confidence. They actually upset Lamar this past weekend. And so, after, watching them, they're a good team. We've also played SFA in the two previous years as exhibition matches, have won both of those games, but it doesn't make a difference. You've got a new staff with Stephen F. Austin, and I think their coach is doing well. Went heavily on the portal, so probably half of the roster is really are new players.
Right.
So can't go based off of what we did last year or the year before. So
sure.
It's good, but still, it's going to be a really good opponent that's coming in here, and so they're 1-0, of course, on the season, and then we play Southeast Louisiana on Sunday.
Okay.
And they won their game. Their home opener was against McNeese.
Okay.
So anyway, we're facing two teams that are 1-0, on the season. So it's time for us, like I said, to
get
step
that
up. Yeah, and win both. We're excited this weekend as well against Stephen F. Austin. We're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. So our girls are all on campus. We're looking to get a great crowd, obviously on Friday night, and then against Southeast Louisiana, we're honoring our seniors. We have 8 seniors, and 2 of those are fifth years, and the other 6 obviously are seniors. But 4 of the seniors are players that actually were recruited here to play Division II. So they've been a part of, obviously, 2 different staff and a whole transition from D2 to D1. And so, anyway, honoring those seniors is certainly always special. It's always special.
Okay, so SFA, Friday evening at
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, and then Sunday afternoon
at 1 o'clock.
Very good.
We're excited.
Lion fans, get here, catch all the action, and let's get some goals. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Inside Lion Athletics. I'm Charlie Chitwood, joined now by women's basketball coach Valerie King. You've been hiding out for a little bit, but you all are about to come out here in another month and start showing out. Whole new roster just about. Tell everybody a little bit about your player makeup. You have how many? 5 returnees?
Yeah, we have 5 returnees, all of which, logged quite a few minutes last year. Jamie, obviously only the one that was injured, I think the 3rd game into the season.
Yeah.
But she's back, healthy, ready to go. And then we have a whole vast majority of new kids. So.
Yeah, and I'm looking up at most of them. It doesn't take much, though. 5'7".
Yeah, we, that was our main thing with the roster was to add size, and inside at the 5 and on the perimeter, and I think we got that accomplished.
Outstanding stuff. Coach, let's go back just to the end of last season, and you're first as a head coach. Finally it hits that wall that every basketball season seems to find if you don't win all the way, and even at that point, I think you're still looking for another game. But how did it go for you? What were you thinking that you did really well last year, that the team did really well, and the things you wanted to work on?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall I thought it was a pretty good year. I think it was a great building block for our first year with the program. And, we really, really used that to build with the kids that we signed and building for the future. When you look back at all the things you could do differently throughout all the games, I think defensively we're going to have a different mindset, a different mentality, if you will, along the board all year long. I think that's been a main focus for us all summer. Offensively, we're always going to be able to score. But to be able to pull out some of those wins, that we were on the verge of getting last year, we got to be able to get stops at the end of the game. So that's what we've really been focusing on the past 4 months.
Talk about with the defense and the changes there. Some of it has to do with just the type of personnel you have, right?
That's correct. Yeah. I think we're built where we can put a little bit more pressure on ball handlers, on the perimeter players. We actually have a bigger 5-player inside now that can protect the paint, protect the basket. So that gives us, free reign on the perimeter to put a little more pressure out there.
And that would kind of match you up a little bit better with some of the teams in the Southland Conference, especially. Lamar had a good big. I think UIW had a good big, and
Southeast
one or two.
Louisiana.
Yeah. There we go.
There's Corpus Christi. The list goes on. After being in the league for a year, you realize the bigs are bigs here. It's not, they're not playing small ball. So it's like that was one of our main things. We had to go get somebody that could defend inside, rebound, and could score a little bit for us.
Okay, so in the 2 previous stops you had as an assistant in the Mountain West Conference, and I forget where the other school, what conference y'all were in?
Horizon League.
Horizon League. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What about the recruiting? Are these the caliber of players you expected in the Southland?
Yeah, I think the Southland has high-level talent across the board, women's basketball, even looking at other sports. It's high level, especially now with the transfer portal the way it is. I think talent's spread around a lot of different places. Because, kids go somewhere, they sit, they want to play. So, you'll have a chance to get some of those kids if they're juniors or seniors or have their grad year. So, you've got to get some high level kids.
So when you went into the portal for the first time as a head coach, do you have like a Sam's card or what do you do to go in? How does the portal work, nuts and bolts?
It's a lot.
You start out at a website and names,
it's
all
2,000
kinds of
different names. Then you use your synergy stuff, your film, to watch film on them. But that's like little stuff. Like we've really got to dig into what kind of person they are, what kind of teammate they are. If they're going to fit us. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just this kid was really, really good, let's try to get her. Right. So
it's got to be a fit.
That's right.
You had, let's see, we talked about the defense. What about offense? Talk about your gunners. You brought a few.
We've got the returners, Jordan Newsom back, Amaya back, Cora. All of them started games at one point throughout the season. And I think that's the one thing that we really, really instill in our kids is to be an option. Like, people aren't going to come guard you if they don't think you're going to shoot it. And that's the way we put pressure on defenses is everybody out there has to have the scoring mentality. And at that point, you're going to become a better passer.
All right. Right now, you're still in practices, just really starting to get geared up for the final push towards competition the first week of November. What's this next month going to be like? Y'all have a scrimmage that you get to work out against other schools?
Yeah, we do. So we've practiced twice already. We'll have about 12 more practices up until our first scrimmage. So it's not a lot. So we have a lot of stuff to get in. But, we'll scrimmage Texas Tech over in Fort Worth, neutral site there. So that'll be really good. And then we'll have about a 10-day break there. And then on the 25th, we'll have UT Dallas in here.
Very good. All right, that's a good D3 program. Y'all whip up on that. Better. All right, Coach, we could go on. There's lots to talk about before the year starts, but we only have so much time this week. So thanks for joining us. Get ready for this. We'll have a lot of fun.
All right, thanks, Charlie. Appreciate it.
Folks, line up, everybody. Valerie King, head coach of Lion women's basketball squad, and we'll be back with more after this. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Inside Lion Athletics. Charlie Chitwood here with you again. I am joined now by Brian White, who's the Assistant Athletic Director for Health and Performance. Did I get it all right?
Yes.
Excellent. Tell us a little bit. I mean, this is your second year here at A&M Commerce. A little bit of an adjustment from Stanford, wasn't it? But
A little bit.
all good, right?
Yeah. It's been fun. It's been a long road, obviously, of my journey. Kind of started out in similar environment to here. When I got out of grad school at UAB, I was working football, and I immediately took a position at Lehigh University up in Pennsylvania.
Right.
And I stayed there for 8 years. A lot of people were kind of coming and going on that staff, and it was a really small staff. We had very similar. It was an FCS school, 1AA football, which now is titled as FCS.
Right.
And all the other sports were Division I. We had 24 sports, and when I first got there, we only had 6 athletic trainers.
Wow.
So
That's
it was,
not a lot especially when there's a football program in there.
Yep. And I was working football. I was working women's basketball, and I worked some more football in the spring, and I worked track and field. Throughout my 8 years there, I covered almost every sport that was on the docket in some way, shape, or form. I did some work with women's soccer, with baseball, track and field, helped with field hockey, helped with lacrosse, and got to see a little bit of wrestling. Didn't work with them as much. My mentor did, and he was a great person to learn from. So I took a lot from his, kind of toolbox of what he had learned over his very long and established career. So he was very highly regarded in that region. So he kind of shaped my career a little bit. And when I got ready to make a move and was offered the position at Stanford, it was just the right time for me. So 8 years there at Lehigh, and then 10 years at Stanford, and obviously that was an amazing experience. Taught me a lot more in that shape and form. So moving here, it was something that I think I was excited about. As I told Jim and the coaches here, that my interest was in the build. It was in how we shape things and how we create things to match where A&M Commerce needs to get to that Division I standing and take things forward to make the model correct and function. So, so it's been exciting. It's been a lot.
Yeah. So what are the things, you come in from Stanford, and they probably have a few more toys than most people.
Yeah.
But you come to rural Hunt County. Lehigh's kind of a college town, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
And then Stanford, that's big city, and, you got everything off campus that's all right around it. Here, it's A&M Commerce, and then the rest of Commerce, and you run out of it pretty quick.
Yeah. Around Stanford, everything is very tech-driven. There's so much going on in the Bay Area. What's kind of ironic is that kind of reminds me quite a bit of DFW, the growing Dallas area. There's a lot of similarities between that and the Bay Area, other than climate and some of the things that are there. But the immense amount of growth and not just industry, but tech and things that are happening. So this does kind of take me back a little bit to the time at Lehigh, although that was a region and area that had kind of changed their focus. They were a steel town for a long time, and very blue collar. They're kind of outside of Philly, and so it has a similar kind of feel, being outside of a big city but still connected to it, and having those kind of ties to that area. So, there's definitely a little bit of a different feel. There was a lot of things we had that were built into the system at Stanford, with the hospital on campus. It was a great resource, and we had everything kind of at our fingertips. So here we have to work a little bit harder. We have to kind of generate some of those resources, and I think we're on a great path. The partnership with Hunt Regional, our medical providers, has I think already started us leaps and bounds ahead of where a lot of schools would be in this kind of standing.
So Lehigh, Stanford, and here, I'll bet the one thing that makes A&M Commerce really separate from the other two is the heat.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably had to deal with more heat-related issues here than at either of the other two.
Yeah, what's kind of ironic. I grew up in Florida, so and there's right where my hometown is. There's a hurricane bearing down on it right now. So, but I played and saw the heat quite often, the humidity. So I myself am used to it. My wife is not. She grew up in California, so it was a shock for her, I'm sure. But when I was at Lehigh, the summers were hot. And the preseason, and this was way back years and years ago when two-a-days still existed for football, we were in the heat, and it was very humid. Maybe not in the 100s that often, but the humidity was high and upper 90s. And even though you're in the mountains, the air kind of gets heavy. Stanford it kind of felt like vacation every day. It was 75 and sunny, and it was in the 50s at night. There was days when it got hot, certain parts of the bay. So we would get up sometimes 90s and close to 100, but it would always cool off at night, and that was very welcome.
So tell us a little bit about, while we still have some time, about the makeup of your staff, your organization. You've got GAs plus professionals, and you got a lot of sports about to all mash together here in another month.
Yeah, so this next month for us is really going to be kind of the go time of the fall, and then we'll do it again in the spring. So the big challenge for me coming in was to build multiple facets, the medical staff for sure, and we're now starting to not take focus away from the medical side, but really shift some importance in the sports performance side and some of the other spaces with nutrition as well. But so the athletic training side, I basically tried to find individuals that were very motivated, had some experience at the Division I level, that they could bring in the know-how to work with the student athletes and care for them at this level and understand what it takes to succeed day to day. Successes in the training room are a little bit different than what they are on the field and on a stat line. So and they're great. They're very motivated. They're very inquisitive, and they look to better themselves and learn on the daily basis, and they want to contribute to the success of the team. So they're invested in it, and that's been great to see. And there's a little bit of a mix, too, of experience. So not everyone on the staff is fresh out of their college program. Some are younger, but they're learning very quick. And the ones that have some experience to them are leading with the kind of, mentorship that they should. So that's been great.
All right. Brian, thank you so much for joining us. I don't think we've ever had anybody from your staff on here. It's good to do that because, it's more than just a roll of tape and some Tiger Balm anymore.
Yeah. It's always evolving. So.
All right, man. Line up, man. Folks, hang on. We've got a little more coming your way right after this on Inside Lion Athletics. Hi, everybody. Welcome back again to Inside Lion Athletics. I'm Charlie Chitwood. I've got Jim Curry, our athletic director, here next to me now. And, man, these weeks go by quick, and there's still something new to talk about every time we get together.
There really is. It's incredible, right? And we got hoops starting. Well, they started practice this week. We got the schedule coming out starting today, and then the men tomorrow or later this week. Hall of Fame announcement out. So, not to mention football in full swing, on the bye this week. Soccer, we're going to be home this weekend with soccer and volleyball and our Hispanic Heritage Month celebration at soccer this weekend. So, we might be on the bye in football, but we ain't slowing down around here, that's for sure.
Hey, man, and both, soccer comes home with a point from their first conference road game. Volleyball comes home with a dub.
Yep.
That's kind of a nice start to Southland play.
Yeah, it's a great start to Southland play, and I think we've talked about in these sessions here the last few weeks about the quality of the non-conference play and how that's really setting us up for success when we get into Southland play, and it's nice to see those kind of early returns there. I know Ashley's still battling a little bit of injury with that squad. she's hoping to get some folks back that can make an impact here starting real soon. And then Joe off to an excellent start, obviously, with Southland play.
Good stuff. You're talking about that pre-conference stuff. They're just about done with anything that will be out of Southland. Football still has the game at Prairie View that is later on in the season, although the conference opener is coming up not this Saturday, but next down in Hammond. And then you got basketball non-conference schedules. It'll be beginning that first week of November, and man, have we got some games, folks.
Overlap season.
Yeah.
Overlap season. Yeah. So I guess technically we have one more non-conference with SFA, but even though they're
yeah.
But
that's a asterisk.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Asterisk non-conference. Exactly. There'll be enough juice in that building that night. It'll feel like a Super Bowl in there. Jeez, but no, it is. It's exciting, and again, overlap season. It's coming up. We talk about how much there is, but yeah, I mean, we got the information out about the Oklahoma softball game. That kind of starts a really busy week for us.
Yeah.
In October, that leads into homecoming weekend. But yeah, I mean we got 4 home games this weekend, so let's get it going, right?
Yeah. So on conference or on the non-conference schedule for, I guess, any sport, how much involvement do you personally have in that? Is it just about approval and budgets, or do you say, hey, you guys want to play, like one of my old buddies at Florida State?
Yeah. No, I'll say it's a little more involved in some sports than others. So football, very heavily involved. That right. Really happens through me. But I'll obviously have Clint as part of those conversations, get a little bit of feedback from him on what we might be looking to do. Basketball, we have a conversation. I have a conversation with Val and Jared about kind of how many guarantee games we're going to play, what we're trying to get out of that, what we can do in terms of number of home games here outside of conference. So those are some things that we kind of set some parameters, and then I let them go. And then contract review from there. With the other sports, similar just in terms of setting some, guidelines or expectations for how we want to approach that. With softball, hey, do we want to bring in, some tournaments early in the year? If we do we want to have a guarantee for those teams that come in that are attached to it? If not, with other sports, returns, those types of things. So it kind of varies a little bit, but yeah. But there's certainly, I think, all along the way, whether it's football, hoops, or other sports, a lot of collaboration with our coaches on that.
So on the women's side, I know they have a date with Baylor.
Yep.
And we've played Baylor before, but it was exhibition for us and not for them, and it was like always the first one. We get a little practice under our belt. We may slaughter them for a change.
Yeah. Right? I'm not ready to put any bulletin board material down in Waco right now. But,
no.
But, yeah, I mean, I think the only thing we don't like about the non-conference schedule for the women is we'd love to have some more home games in that one, but the way the cadence worked out this year.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the balance in it, the quality of it, the way Val put that together it was really good. So I'm really happy with it. We start our 3 home games in the non-conference are real early. Mm-hmm. So we'll be done with those by the time we even get to Thanksgiving. We won't see them at home again until the new year.
Right.
So, but we'll be around, and the 3 that we've got are really, UTA coming in. Mm-hmm. That's a good non-conference opponent. And then we'll go to Arkansas, we'll go to Baylor. And that's a kind of an example of where we've balanced that schedule a little bit, not trying to – we know we got to play a couple of those games for a few reasons, but we've got some non-D1s in there to start the year to get us started, and then really quality non-conference, non-Power 4 opponents that we're playing across the board. So, yeah, I really like our non-conference schedule on the women's side, and I think it preps us well, but gives us some good balance as well.
Yeah, they're going to play Arkansas, too.
That's right, Arkansas and Baylor.
That'll be a fine match. Now, on the men's side, let's see. Pretty high profile. That gauntlet that Rose likes to start the year with open up at, let's see, Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa.
I've only been to Iowa like twice in my whole life.
In November.
And I just, no, it was during the summer, Coach. It was arena football. Yeah. So, but all I do is get my feet wet. I'm in the next state. So that's how little of Iowa I've visited. And then from there, South Dakota State.
South Dakota.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Coyotes, not the Jackrabbits.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then from there, let's get down to Aggie Land.
We'll go to Aggie Land, yeah, on a Friday night. So, yeah, we have a big Friday that first week where we'll have the women at Arkansas, the men at A&M, which is obviously a nice way to start out. The men will get started, but yeah, I mean, the thing about the men's schedule is no non-D1s for the first time, which I love.
Right.
So Jarrett's really testing what we've got, and I think he's doing a great job of getting the brand out there as well. And so the quality of the home games we've got coming in on the men's side is exceptional. South Alabama, Abilene Christian, Purdue Fort Wayne, missing one somewhere in there off the top of my head, but the quality is exceptional. And so, Southern, that's part of the other experience. Yeah, so Southern early on. So a great home schedule in the non-conference before we then get into Southland play. And we've talked about this before, but I don't think we can overstate it. Both on the men's side and the women's side, the quality of play in the Southland Conference continues to elevate. And so, it's funny. I was talking to the president the other day, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think about hoops?" And I'm like, "Well, I think we're better, but I think the rest of the league's better. So I don't know where we're going to be." And I think we saw a little bit of that with volleyball yesterday too. Mm-hmm. Two teams come in, quality of the league's up. We're picked 10th. We sweep on the road a team that was picked to finish ahead of us. Welcome to Southland Conference play, right? Yep. I mean, that's what we're going to get. So, again, the quality of what's happening in the Southland continues to improve across every sport.
So, back to the basketball and the home dates, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be something that'll change a little bit once we get all the way into Division I. That was one part of the transition process that I don't think everybody just, automatically assumed. What, are we always going to have to do that? No.
Correct. Yeah.
But it'll be a lot easier to do once we have all of the benefits of membership.
Well, with our transition in, it was so quick, and then there was a lot going on with the conference at that time as well.
Yes.
And that kind of influx. And so we got a lot of games that we're still trying to get out of the cycle that were scheduled kind of in a hurry.
Right.
And under some challenging set of circumstances, both, with the league and then with us getting into it. And so I think the women are a little bit closer to being on the other side of that. The men are close to, but I think that explains a little bit of some of the cadence on this. And then we continue to look at how many games we want to have in conference play within the Southland. We got 20 this year. We were 18 last year. Had to find a way to kind of fit those in somewhere. So that's why we got 2 December conference games for both the men and the women this year. And that's where we're still working some of that dynamics of when we came in and had to get some games in short order. Still working that through the cycle a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
A little bit of insight there, right?
Yeah,
So
I learn something new every day. Hey, we don't have too much time, but Jim, talk a little bit more about the Hispanic Heritage celebrations we're going to have this month.
Yeah, that's always been a great game for us, and we'll kind of kick that off with soccer this weekend, SFA. I'm telling you right now, that's a big game for us and for conference play as well. SFA went down, whereas at home this past week, knocked off Lamar preseason favorite. We're obviously towards the top of the preseason standings as well. So big one. I mean, big one for us and for league play. Need everybody out there. Going to be a great celebration. That's been like I said, we've done a lot around that game in conjunction with student engagement. They've really taken the lead this year, so kudos to them. But, yeah, a lot of energy around that game and a big game on the table as well, for sure. So we'd love to see everybody out there on Friday night. And then Friday night.
Friday night, 7 o'clock.
I was thinking about volleyball, which is Thursday night, Saturday, and then we're back home for soccer on Sunday night as well. So Friday, Sunday soccer, Thursday, Saturday volleyball this weekend.
Awesome.
Yep.
Going to be busy. Going to be fun.
And next week, I know we're getting kind of tight on time, but spend a little time. We got the Hall of Fame class announced, and really excited about that. And I'll tell you, we talk about the history, the tradition, the legacy of success here. I think I get surprised by it every time. Again, when I read through some of the accomplishments of our student athletes and teams, this class is just exceptional. I mean, and there, you could say that about every class, but it feels like at some point you're going to get to one where like, okay, yeah, like it's just an exceptional group across a whole bunch of sports, right? And so I think it just, again, speaks to what this place is about, what's possible here, what's been accomplished here, and what can be accomplished here, not just in on the playing surface, but after that as well, because not just folks who are accomplished in sport, but after they've left as well. So really excited to get this class introduced and continue to make the Hall of Fame and celebrating all of our former student athletes, continuing that to be a hallmark and an important part of what we do here operationally in the department.
All right. Yep. So what are you going to do without a football game Saturday? I mean, go fishing.
We're going to we got basketball, we got soccer, we got volleyball, we got Hall of Fame. We got plenty going on.
You'll figure something out to do.
We got softball playing. Men's golf starts this weekend. Women's golf is off to an awesome start to their season. So I guess we'll figure something out to do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
You won't be too bored.
No, we'll figure out something.
All right. We never are here on campus. Folks, thanks for tuning in again to another episode of Inside Lion Athletics. We'll do it again. You can count on it. We'll see you next week.
Go Lions.